Parallax on the scene, coming off his routine, dropping hits like Billy Jean, holding next to your theme, flammable like gasoline, dream team, hot like steam, crystal clear like golden string, harmonized, never seen, loops locked down like Sing Sing, reinvented hip hop as you know it, yo hit track flow it. I rhyme calm, you get excited. My freestyle beats the best shit you write, kid. Be original, cause every part of your career can be pivotal. I set trends you perpetrate like a criminal who makes ends and drops electricity. I sleep riding home upon the IRT. So while you take the subway, I take the subway too. But I don't lie about my life. So why should you? Should you? Should you? Should you? Could never stop progression. You can't stop originality. You could never find your skill. Cause hip-hop is in the state of insanity. It's those kids, Parallax, competition, we wax, breaking backs like 90 mile per hour impacts and acts. In fact, you're playing like a relapse. I can back, produce tracks with ADAX. I get sacks like red light from the Green Bay packs. No, we're not the jacks, but you know we just swing and do your thing, A-track. Your style's pop, my style's original. This verse makes your album seem minimal. Take a good look at what you do and what you say for a living. Hear my song, realize you made the wrong decision. While you talking, dream of getting a deal, I'm in the studio. I make it happen for real. So while you dream about fame, I dream about fame too. But I'm getting mine. So why can't you? Can't you don't impress anyone if you paid. You don't impress anyone if you're paid. I said if your style and your format's played. If your style and your format's played. You could never stop progression. You can't stop originality. You could never find your skill. Cause hip-hop is in the state of insanity. Cause hip-hop is in the state of insanity. Cause hip-hop is in the state. Cause hip-hop is in the state. Cause hip-hop is in the state of insanity.
Anyway, got a little promo from the Uptown Labs crew, and I played it a couple of weeks ago, so we're gonna go into that, and then we got some joints, and when Stretch gets back here, he got a couple of ice cream sandwiches he's bringing back. So, welcome back. We weren't on the air last week. Hopefully, you enjoyed the Johann Sebastian Bach special, and we will be on the air next week. Regular time. So we'll Trash Talk 11:15 to 11:45, and then the Stretch Armstrong show with me from 1 to 5.
Yeah. What's this, kid? Stretch Armstrong, Bobito, 89 check 9. Yeah, bring your ass. Come on, y'all won't bring it on. Bring it on, man. Stretch Armstrong is a nigga that wrecks records. His head move fast from one side to the next, kid. It's 89 Tech 9 on your dial. Music you wanna hear, plus niggas be dropping freestyles. From old school straight up to new flavors. So when it hits Thursday, stay up a little later. It's from 1 to 5 in the morning. He got the crates mad deep with fat beats, so don't sleep. It's mad underground representing East Coast. When Bob's on the mic, he's radio's best host. Other shows got to pay their bills, now you see why they be taking breaks. Stretch goes commercial free.
Now he's back a second. Let this little nigga from the boogie down show you that. Sound of pound, 89 Tech 9, hold the undisputed ground. This nigga jam one fiend for real hip hop, the same way the bitch niggas with no skills feeding for props. And your mad styles, a kick gets open like an on top. Stretching Bobito gets the props. So getting all the props.
of the radio station, yeah, fuck around.
Hey yo, what's up? My name is A-Pack and I'm chilling at Fathead Soundworks. My man Jay Trez, yo, with Parallax Station. And yo, this fat beat is hooked up by my man Scrappy and Uptown Labs, definitely. Hey yo, Parallax Nation kicking the ill funky abstract mental stage for 94. And I want to give a big shout out to Stretch Armstrong and Bobby
on the west range to the left of my dial for the fat rap. Stopping where the stats are. Always saying pat that MG in the AM. Ripping mad heads, taking porno service and jumping day in. Kicking mad blows, but Bobby's talking about some chicken and ice cream and sandwiches. You should have caught the cabinet, but you keep it underground. The cabinet's chambers for the average. The bench not trying to see the average. The music, mediocrity, lost in the maze of commercial monopoly. So if you want it properly, then check the property that you can catch from 1 to 5 each stretch.
I see you through Megalopolis, dying in the pit of a commercial assault. My God, it's my fault. It's the end of hip hop as we know it. But who's to say it won't last another day? In the pit of an unclear reaction, activation of brainwave destructive forces. Of course, it's my opinion to voice my opinion throughout my dominion. I be the ill product of genetic tampering, hampering your flows and scattering frequencies, reaching the minds of the trouble. You 89 to 9, they play the truth.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Yo, welcome to the Shok Chronicles. I just want to, you kill this beat, Jay. This beat is so hard, man. Like, you honestly, you kicked my ass on this record. This beat is so hard.
That long to realize how hot that beat was.
This beat is fire. The way you chop those drums up. That's that ASR, right? What was that? The Insonic?
That was the ASR 10. That's right.
Man, choppiness. Listen to that. Yo, Dave, I can't believe you got that shirt, bro.
You know what's so funny? I tried to find mine because I was gonna wear mine, which would have been hilarious.
You still have yours?
Because I still got mine. But
I thought I was the only one in the world.
I gained a bunch of weight, so I would look a lot more funny in mine than you look in yours.
Yeah, this is the best I can do. Bang.
Oh, no way.
Young Shok.
And the comic book stuff.
Look like my son there, Noel.
Silent Morning.
Wow.
Silent Morning.
That's funny. My son is named Noel.
Because of that shirt.
Wow, because of that shirt. yo, Dave, you always made us laugh, man. You always, man. Yo, Dave, you lost mad weight, bro.
I told you, kid.
I know,
bro. Like,
if you turn sideways, you'll disappear, man.
For real.
I told them I spent my whole 20s fat though.
Man.
But it's good when I go to the barber shop, everybody's getting fat and I'm getting skinny. They're like, how'd you do it?
Well,
I'm like, I'm diabetic now. So
I want to introduce you guys to my man Derek Calto. And he's my partner in crime. We do all the podcasts together. He's supporting me on the Shok Chronicles as my brother. And my brother, meet my brothers. So we all automatic brothers now.
Gentlemen, it's an honor to be here, and I can't wait to ask him questions.
Yes.
Likewise, man. You guys have been doing a great job. I've been watching the podcasts.
Thank you, man. We appreciate
Thank you, man. Thank you. And you can always throw in a comment if you think that we're way wrong about something.
And Jay, you've been doing some bomb podcasts too. I mean,
that's true.
I have a little bit of a different flavor, but it's been fun.
But pretty huge, big, gigantic stuff.
What is it?
It's it's some business leaders that are transforming the way they use data and customer analytics and marketing.
Oh,
and
that's
all sorts of amazing things that are amazing, but less fun than what we did 20 years ago.
Yes, but let's see now. But this is why we called him J Biz. You hear what he just said, right?
Yeah.
This is why even when he was in his little hoopty driving around, and we would call him J Biz because his phone was attached to him. First of all, let's start there. He was always trying to put some pieces of a puzzle together for what we were doing, always. And he just always had a natural knack, man, for business. Always, man. And it's no surprise to me how successful you've been, Jay. Because
I remember jumping out Jay Biz's whip on 145th next to the Chronics. They had a store that said the Chronic Supply. This is the Dinkins administration. There was like 10 weed spots next to each other, and Jay Biz was bringing the tape. He was bringing hats at one time.
Yeah.
Remember you were selling hats? And you were bringing the tapes. You were like into like
that.
You were like the only white man in Harlem jumping into the Chronic Supply.
I forgot about that. We were like the mixtape mafia, right? Like running around. Like we had boxes with boxes of mixtape, and we've been running around. What's up, Jason Burnham? JB.
What's up, Jay? Jay is basically a part of Matt's vinyl, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Matt's. Wait a second, Matt's came from Jay.
It did. Mass.
Now, don't ask me to tell you what it means because he told me 100 times.
Let me just tell you something.
I can't remember.
I bring a lot of people together. I bring J Biz and J Tech together.
That's true.
I bring Shok and J Biz together.
That's true.
Well, yeah, but when we talk about bringing together, definitely got to shout out Amori because Amori's the bridge. He's the bridge from Yonkers to the West Riverdale.
That's
He's
true.
like the bridge. He moved to Yonkers, right?
You know, you and I went to elementary school together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You sure?
Wow,
I mean, you were 2 years old.
I knew him before he knew English. Though. I met him before he knew English. Straight up, I knew him before he knew English.
Yeah,
like I knew him when he was in like PSA.
Here we go. That's what Matt stands
first
for.
Grade, he took his clothes off in the middle of the gym and walked around me.
Stop playing. Don't put him on blast.
Put him in special ed for that shit. He might be mad about
Stop. Yeah, man. But shout out to Amori, man. That's my brother, and he definitely he's like the plug for a lot of things, man.
He connected me and you. I think me and you met writing graffiti on
the first time I met you. Yes. Oh snap! I forgot.
McLean Avenue.
You and
Stone. Not McLean Avenue.
It was you. You were with Stone. It was right. Russian.
It was that block. Right? What happened?
Wow. No, you were with Stone.
I met you writing graffiti. You had like a blue Pentel and you were writing Shok.
Yes.
And we was by. I think we was by. Not Ratford Avenue, like where it turns right there by the car dealership.
Yes.
I think I met you on Roll. And then we chilled, with Jack the Ripper. The dude Q.
And then Dave, was it you or was it Al? Somebody introduced me to Shok. Like, yo, I know this dude who wants to sell some 1200s. You got to meet him.
It might have been Al on the DJ
I still have those 1200s, Mike.
Wow.
In my garage. I mean, like they're dusty, but I still got them. They're in a coffin. The thing weighs like 7,000 pounds.
Damn.
You can't get rid of that shit.
I still have my 1200s that you sold me when we were like, whatever, 18 years old.
Wow, bro. That is crazy.
I forgot about that.
I remember Al got mad. He's like, Jay Biz took over my friends. I'm mad. I was like, see, yo.
So, all right. So let's get down to some business. Let's talk about, and then Derek, you jump in, man. Ask whatever, man. Because I remember like. That's why I played the Uptown Labs, because I remember Uptown Labs. Jay, you were doing that. That was you doing the tapes. Shay Fabulous. Yep. Shout out to Shay. And I remember Brian had the studio by Riverdale.
Yep.
And then I was doing my thing in Yonkers.
Brian came through J Tech.
Yes, because he was upstate. Right.
His girl was like, "Don't give him weed. I'll kill you." Like, please stop.
Yes, and I remember, one time,
I'm like, he's 10 years older than me. Stop it.
We went upstate one time. I remember. Brian. Yeah. No, we went upstate one time. I remember Brian
Yeah,
had a house up there, and we recorded or something. I can't remember
I used
what
to
we
go
did.
in the morning.
Wow. And then he moved and he got the studio. So you had Uptown Labs, and then I had my thing I was doing in Yonkers.
Yep.
And then I remember you were like, yo, you somehow I was like,
we had that studio. It was like the little side corner of some Irish bar.
yes.
Right?
Yeah, now it's called
Brian was like, all
Bronxburg.
right, Jay, you can use it as much as you want. Just rent it out enough to pay the rent for me. And I'm going to use it sometimes, but you guys can have it as much as you want. And so that became the beginning of everything for us, right? Was that little studio?
That little studio started it.
It was like 5 feet wide by like 20 feet deep, right? That thing was tiny.
Yeah. And I remember us trying to figure everything out, like how to mix and in there, and like this sounds terrible and this sounds all right.
We had the ADAT. We got the digital stuff.
ADAT,
we got the 8-track
yes.
ADAT, but you only got 7 tracks because you got to use one for the symphony. But we got 7 tracks digital. Remember that?
Yes.
The cassettes.
Yes.
You want to know something funny? Just a side note. One time I was there and I think Mark Live had booked it to do a demo called Scanner. So I'm chilling in there with TR Love from Ultramagnetic, like real talk. We're chilling, and then J-Biz wasn't there that day, but I know you heard about IC pops up to pick up Mark, and there was a little store named Vinny's. I used to buy I used to come with like
shout out to Mark.
75 pennies to buy comics. So this guy used to hate me when I was a little kid. But I grew up in the neighborhood. Then I walked in there with IC, like what? IC's with me. He's like, IC, I just met him like for 1 minute. He's like, where's the star? I was like, IC's my fam. You crazy? He was a dick, but that day he was nice. He thought I chilled with IC. It was all good.
Wow, man.
You know what's funny though, Shok? I was listening to the intro, right? You were playing all the Stretch and Bobbito promos.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I didn't end up having a big career in the music business like you did. I bailed halfway through. But like that's what set us all off, right? Like those promos. In fact, that last promo, which Dave to this day, as 20 something years later, I still am pissed off that you said this beat was created by man Scrappy just because Scrappy knew Stretch and Bobbito, right?
Oh my God!
Whatever. I don't need the credit. I just want us to shine, right?
That was that. Yes, sure.
But so wait, what's the story behind that? Because that
just for karma, J Tech beat him up though.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes you feel better, but he beat him up.
But wait, so Jay, you did that?
Let me tell you something. That beat,
yeah,
you were there. I made that beat in like 30 minutes.
All right,
like that.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
No, here's the thing. That beat was made on Scrappy's ASR 10 before I bought one. Right? And we were in Scrappy's house. We made that beat. We whipped that together in like 30 minutes. And like Dave started spitting, and it was like, man, like we got something here. Like this was tight, right? Like Jay Treads was there. Shout out to Jay Treads, wherever the hell he is.
Yeah, man. I got something I want to play later too with Jay Treads, and it's a freestyle on Stretch and Bobbito with Jay Treads and 8-track.
Yeah, but that's what set us off. That was the first thing we ever had on the radio. Like before High Tech, before like your amazing career with Rough Riders, right?
It was it made it feel possible. You know what I mean? Like someone knew somebody, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, we got a promo on the show that we record religiously. All of us.
Yeah.
Because all of funny, us. I have your Stretch and Bobbito tapes, Shok.
Oh, you do?
I got on those DVD tapes. I got all them shit. I got like 5 of them.
Damn. All right. Now I know where they are. Okay. I thought I lost them.
So
it's better you have them than the storage unit.
See the butter.
I'm glad you got them.
The funny thing about back then versus now, though, I think about and I should have brought it out of my closet. We actually recorded some of that stuff on not just cassettes, but we took some other cassette, put a little piece of tape over the tab, recorded on there, wind that shit with a big pen. And that would be the joint that we would hand into somebody. We'd put our own sticker on top of it. We wouldn't even use a new tape. Right?
I used to bust your chops. We were like, you some busted ass tape. That's the sound.
And now we live in the digital era, right? Where everything's super clean. You what we used to have to spend $10,000 on equipment, you can now get for $179 in software, right?
Yeah. and it's much easier to use the stuff now too.
Yeah.
But that's a whole. That's
crazy.
that's just the way
That
it is.
watered down the game. You had to have more
Yeah, I mean,
aspirations.
it
was
just
more
made a lot of
special.
people.
It elevated
Like
in
you-
some, right? Or a little
Yeah,
bit of both.
In some
Yeah.
ways, that shit.
I think it was.
It
It's got its ups and downs, like everything.
That's like
It's easier to enter because it doesn't take as much of a commitment to get into it, and so it's flooded. You know, so it's a
Yeah.
little
Yeah,
bit of
it's
everything.
like-
Before
that's like
there was
when I
only
go to the
3 in every town. You know, in every neighborhood, there might be 1 or 2 people who made beats.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe 4, and that was like
It was rare.
so. Everybody who's spitting was either going to one of the 2 or 3 or 4, if you're lucky. You know, guys who were making beats in that neighborhood. So it wasn't.
But it was so rare that when you found those people, you could really connect with them. Now it's
Yeah.
like everybody rap.
Yeah, it's
like
sort of-
people
it
rap and they don't
forced you to
even
build.
want to rap.
Yeah.
It's different now. Like people don't showcase their talent unless it's recorded. Like at
So-
that time, people wanted to jump into like a cipher and rhyme together, and that was the excitement.
True.
Like we were more. There was more like true to the essence. Like when we did it, I don't know now because it's big now and everybody knows about it. We just happened to come from the place where rap was created, and that time wasn't that far from it. It was very New York orientated.
But that was like, you know, golden era hip hop, right? Like we were part of that. I mean, maybe not as big a part as we would have liked to be back then, but I mean, we were part of the subculture. Like, I mean, we were an acknowledged part of the subculture, right? Like,
yeah, there's like a backpack 12-inch era from the 90s that we're part of, and if you go on YouTube, you'll find that people like really like our music from that, and it's
Yeah, no, definitely.
with the artists that we liked at the time. So
Yeah.
like I'll go on there and it'll be like Company Flow, Mass Harmony, Nonfiction. I'm like, oh shit, all right, good, because that's at the time that's where I wanted
Yeah.
to be. So if they see us on that.
Off topic, I want to give a shout out to Uni, who he sent me some of those promos that I didn't have and I couldn't find. So shout out to Uni. Thank you for that.
Somebody put a whole Mass Final album on. Did you know about that? Were anybody part of that?
man,
I was like,
we
what the hell is
didn't even do that.
Well, no, we didn't. We never did that.
Should
Yeah,
have done that.
that was one of the things we should have done, for sure. But all right, so let's get back to the story. So one of the things I remember, so me and Jay and I was like, yo, I got this money saved, let's do a label, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, we got the artwork. And then did we go to Citibank on the first release?
That's right. We did. I remember that.
Remember they didn't even believe we were like 18, 19, right? And they were like, what are you doing here? How much of a hard time did they give us just to open up a business account?
That's right.
Remember?
I remember that.
Yeah.
It was in Riverdale.
Yes, in Riverdale, yes.
Bank.
And they were like, you know, and the lady had to go because of our age, and you know, we had everything we needed.
They probably were trying to rob the bank.
Yeah, she was like, forget about it. She gave us a mad hard time. Like, what do you? No, you can't do that. And we're like, well, we got this and we got that, and we were ready to do it. And I remember that. And then we pressed them up. And what was the first thing we did, Jay? Let's see whose memory is better. We pressed them up.
I remember the B-side. The B-side was the joint that you just played, the Don't Mean Jack, right?
Yeah.
It was a double A side.
Yeah, we put A and side one. Yeah.
What? Oh my God! I can't believe I just forgot the A side.
I don't remember. No, it was side A and side one because we didn't want to pick.
Side A and side one. That's right.
We didn't want to pick, so we were like side A and side one. Let's just let people decide because we didn't know which one to pick.
What was the other side? Oh man.
No, it was Don't Mean Jack and Bleeding Hate.
Bleeding.
And,
that's right.
And there was another thing with Shay Fabulous talking like that.
Yeah, at the end, which we're gonna do that for the outro. So yo, why don't we throw on let's put on Don't Mean Jack because that
Don't Mean Jack I did first. That was the
let's put Don't Mean Jack and then after that we'll listen to
You know that
Bleeding Hate.
when I wrote that I just wrote anything. I didn't know like how to put syllables together, but it came out hot. Like now,
listen, yo, that joint's fire, man. And
I told
the
the
beat
whole
is
story.
crazy.
That was meta. We're talking about the industry. We love talking about the industry.
Yeah, we did. We love talking about all the stuff that didn't sell records.
Ha. There you go.
Hey, what's up, Jay Fabulous? What's going on, A-Track? Chillin'?
Shout out to Shay Fabulous. Big part of Matt's Vinyl.
Gotta come from under the rock and explain to these people what it's all about in the industry. In the industry, but we're not in the industry. Yo, we just gotta give them some type of reaction. You know what I'm saying? My reaction, yo, this is my reaction. Yo, word up, man. Let them know what it's all about, kid. Here's the story of a kid who tried to make the fast buck, yo, when the heat was on, so yo, beef is gone. He would pick a verse from an unsigned artist on a mixtape. He was heartless and it was his trait to take a rhyme pad and then try to make it better, but it would sound worse and only work in reverse. So he rehearsed the fake image to try to feed the name in order to be a megastar. And the label laid it up like it was candy and pumped some jeans into videos cause he took the show. And he didn't understand the underground, but had to make some quick ass dough, yo, ghetto. So the kids made noise with yellow, really due to the fact the skills were limited in nature. Soon after he was dropped off the label, unable to comply with some new fat material. It's a stereo that I came with mainly because I'm intertwined in the tail in a way. I'm the nigga on the tape who got copied, but yo, he did it sloppy in the end it didn't pay. I got 7 more styles, so I don't sweat if niggas take one, cause I can write a rhyme, rip it up and write the next one. I can write the next one. I can write a rhyme, rip it up and write the next one. So it don't mean jack to me. I can write a rhyme, rip it up and write the next one. Doing what I gotta do. It don't mean jack to me. I can write a rhyme, rip it up and write the next one. So it don't mean jack to me. Now if you ever tried to wonder about the crooked day, you know who tried to promise that millions that he made him a star, he got a bonus. Just to get kids to take a fall, and all in all, his life was flowing. So one nigga just wasn't going out like that, and that was me, cause I'm aware of all the shady brothers in the industry who try to jerk you. So we had to do it on our own, only to overcome some obstacles before we're ever known. But yo, we're here now, and here is not where we played to stay. We played to elevate to another level, another day. Anyway, yo, the moral of the story is to be original, or it's a catastrophe if you're athlete, but you're not. I voice my opinion cause you're lacking importance, G. Plus your style is whack, so you don't mean jack to me. Don't mean jack. I can write a rhyme, rip it up and write a next one. So it don't mean jack to me. I can write a rhyme, rip it up and write the next one. Doing what I gotta do. It don't mean jack to me. I can write a rhyme, rip it up and write the next one. So it don't mean jack to me. So it don't mean jack to me. I can write a rhyme, rip it up and write the next one.
All right, I got production questions.
Me too.
Like, all right, so what sample is that? Because you chopped that shit up. The drums, you chopped them up nasty. Like that was official. But how about the sample?
The sample. You remember what the sample was? I mean,
I can't remember. Was it like a soundtrack for Star Wars, disco, or something?
It was good memory, man. It was the disco version of the theme to Star Wars. It was
there you go. I remember. Yeah.
He's like, like I don't even know if like that was popular or not.
That was fire sample,
right? Like that was back. We used to like go to vintage stores and pick up records for like 25
for the cover because you don't know what's on. That's what I used to do.
Exactly.
Like, this is a cool cover.
Exactly. But that hook, man. That like I put my passion, blood, sweat, and tears into that hook. And like that whole hook was the story, right? Like that was what you were.
That hook was like ahead of its time too, because that's like, remember when Beatnuts started? Dave, you're muted. You're muted, Dave. But remember when Beatnuts started doing those hooks like that? Like John Wayne couldn't even stand the rain of the tech. Head for the hill. Like that was ahead of his time because you were doing that, like chopping them up.
He sampled Biggie before Biggie blew up. Like Party and Bullshit was out.
Yeah, true.
He sampled it from that. Like that shit was before Ready to Die or anything. Like,
that's true.
You were the first person who was like, this dude's gonna blow up. Like Party and Bullshit came out.
I still love that track, by the way.
And then he did.
That's funny. I forgot that was his first.
That shit came out.
Yep.
Wow, that's true. So Derek, man, you got any questions?
So it's Jay that made this beat.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I just want to go back a little bit and like you guys talked about how you met one another, but what was the process of like how did you decide let's make music together? Was there like an evening where you guys like you kind of knew one another and you thought maybe we should try this or like what form?
I think what happened is like, I think I met Shok, and I was doing music with Shok sometimes. He had another artist. I did a hook for him. And then I did some joint called Time to Kill, Time to Murder, Time to Kill. I think that's the first thing. And then I met Jay Biz because he lived in my boy's building. I knew Jay Biz since we were kids. Like, we knew each other since we were kids. We grew up in the same neighborhood. He's 2 years younger than me. So, like, in elementary school, that shit's a lot. But, like, later when we was in, like, you know, when we was in our 20s, it wasn't that. Don't front. You know what I'm talking about. So we started chilling with Jay Biz.
Shout out to Paige.
Jay Biz, did you even do music when I first chilled with you? Like when we started chilling later, or you just chilled with Al and he DJ? And you got into DJing, and that's when we did Uptown Lab.
No, hold on. First of all, the connections here are like intense because, first of all, JB and J Tech and Al used to DJ, and you were part of that too. Powerhouse and what was the other?
Oh, with Ivan the Terror, right?
And so I wasn't down with the business when you guys were running that, like, you know, when we were like 16, 15 years old. But then J Tech and I started promoting nightclubs when we were like 16, 17 years old, something like that. And like, you know, these were like the hot New York City clubs, Limelight, Palladium, Mars. And like, I remember you got these lines of people that were, you know, like, you know, 20, 30. There he goes with the list.
Jay, you want to get on here, Jay? I'm going to send you a link. You need to get on here.
Jay's like encyclopedia.
I'm sending you a link, bro.
By the way, he's our crew historian. So I remember, so we promoted nightclubs together.
You want to know something?
Oh no, you're breaking up, dude. Get out the big pen.
Start writing, bro. Start writing.
So while Dave's frozen, so we started promoting nightclubs together, and meanwhile, Shok, you started making beats, you started making music, and you were a DJ in Yonkers, and I had connected with Al and Dave. I think Dave was the glue between us, and then J Tech was kind of like, you know, Jay was just like, he was just down with everybody, and we connected it all together.
Worked for me. Let me tell you about J Tech. J Tech had roller skates and hammer pants. He was wearing hammer pants.
Yo, Jay, text me your email. I can't find it.
And we worked at Skyview, and we worked at the Skyview pool, and I went downtown with I took mescaline, and I tripped, and I went to a club called Quick, and I'm going to. So I was like, I can't go back to Skyview. So I quit. Like 2 weeks later, J Tech was like, I can't go back to Skyview either. So he started working for me, flyman, and then I think he connected with you somehow.
Yeah, I don't even remember how me and J Tech met, but
because J Tech, you must have met through Al. Because me, Al, and J Tech all worked at Skyview, and you didn't, so you must have met through Al.
Yeah. No, and the funny thing is, I ended up working as a lifeguard in Skyview the year after you guys, and I heard all the stories about your pillaging.
Yeah,
I guess I was there in the less. But man, Dave's breaking up a bit. He got some funny stories.
So I remember, like, I started clubbing. Can you hear me now?
We're losing you a little.
Could you guys hear me?
Stick your antenna out the window.
Yeah, do like get close, get right next to the router, yo. Like sit on top of the router.
But
the way that shit
Derek,
going off my TV.
The connections were like, it was like a bunch of Venn diagrams where we all were doing a little bit, and then I think Dave and Jay kind of connected us together, and then Shok, you sold me those turntables, and one day I think you were like, yo, come over to my place, come down to the basement and check out these beats, and then I got this ASR 10. I started making some beats, and and one day, I don't even remember how. I don't know if we'll ever, maybe you remember, but we're like, yo, we should just start a label. We should just put something out, right? And
yeah. And I was like, I remember that.
It was like, Dave,
like, yo, we should just start a label. We should just put something out, right? And
oh shit, I'm not the only one who got it.
Yo,
Jay,
I remember that.
Remember when we were J Tech? Remember when we were young and we had full heads of hair? I'm not the only one who got Jay.
Hold on, I'm getting a lot of echoes here. One second.
Jay, you probably got something open.
Yeah, I did. I closed out the other window.
There you go. Man, this is the crew, man. This is like hip hop, internet evolution, genesis royalty here.
Jay was the first person on internet.
He hooked us up with Brian and got us like a real studio to put out that record. Yo.
Yeah,
like that was a big thing to bring people from Cornwall down and do shit. I was saying his girlfriend was like, "Don't give him weed. How dare you?" Yeah, like I'm pretty
right.
She was fine too. She was fine, even though I'm married. Just because you're on a diet doesn't mean you can't look at the menu. I'm just joking, guys. But yeah, she called me up. Don't give him weed. How dare you?
Yo, anybody remember my business card, yo?
That's hilarious.
That thing's pretty great.
Yo, that's 24-hour contact.
That's pre 24-hour contact, just in case. Just in case,
bro.
You can
take fax machine, everything. I didn't even own a computer at that time.
J Tech, do I remember going to like a house upstate with you, Brian, and a bunch of people and trying to make a beat for like 24 hours and we couldn't make a beat? It was like
I remember that. I was there.
So actually, Jay, with the night Dave's talking about was actually even before we met you, I think. That was you. It was Al, Giovanni. Was it like
my God,
Amjad, and
oh my God.
Who
that
else?
was like the first.
No, I was definitely there. I remember that.
He was there.
You were there that one?
I was definitely there.
He was there.
I was definitely there.
Because I was telling them I met you at Skyview. I met you at Skyview.
Yeah, that's where you and I met. Yeah, that was real origin story. I mean, you and I met shoveling mud. At the that Skyview, which was I got a job there because that was the.
I was like, you can't work here no more. You have to come to the village and triple.
That's pretty
work here. We just quit that job. Remember, we just like we're gonna go downtown every day and give out flyers. Fuck this job.
Yeah,
and we did it. We had. We had some coffee, and I tried to put Shok down, but Shok passed out.
Well,
I tried to get Shok to Cat Club to DJ. It was his first downtown shit. I put you on, but you slipped and you fell.
I did.
You fell,
the irony, I slipped and I fell.
I was like, how could you do that?
Yeah, it's true story. I was in the bathroom, I slipped and I fell. And I couldn't come down that day.
But I remember back then, you guys were doing some clubs. This was before I was like hanging hard with you guys. Like, Dave, I remember you guys did something with Cypress Hill. What was the name of the club? It was like on 13.
Oh, no, that was Cat Club.
No, but the Cypress Hill shit he's talking about is that it was at
Octagon,
and then somebody
that was like Cypress Hill's first.
He didn't show up. It was like on one of those 3 days. He's talking about Mateo when we gave our flyers for Mateo. Peace to Mateo. We knew him.
Yep.
Remember you see when Biggie's like, peace to Mateo. And they say that on Summer Jam, we knew Mateo. Don't front, Jay.
I was there that night for the Cypress Hill.
Jay, me and Jay Tech slid into some huge situations. We didn't even know what the hell we were doing, but we got into we did some big club promotions. Don't front. We did. Like now that you look back on it, like coming from Skyview Pool with no experience, within a year we were doing Cat Club and MKs, filling that shit up.
Well, I still remember the night at Cat Club. Was it Muggs who came in? And it was this was the summer of '91, and I remember was Muggs, right? It was Muggs came in
and gave us the Cypress Hill 12-inch,
and we were like, and he was like, that was Cat Club was hot, like that was the hottest hip hop.
That was totally us too.
City at the time.
That was just us.
Yeah, Cat Club was on fire at that time.
Yeah, and I remember Muggs dropped off the record. Al was DJing at the time. I remember we went into the DJ booth and we were like, all right, let's just see if whatever he's dropping off is any good. And what we were listening to was How I Could Just Kill a Man.
That shit was amazing.
And I remember we dropped it. I remember Al dropping it that night. The whole club went crazy. Then right after that, Funky Feel one was the B-side, and threw on Funky Feel one with that as well.
We had those Andre Charles flyers too. Those TCT Andre Charles.
Yeah, that's right.
If you put that baby on your flyer, you're popping.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yo, hold on.
You know, only a bunch of old dudes get excited about this, right?
Somebody remembers.
So Derek, man, get us back on track, man. Anything?
All right, so
hold on. We're on track.
Oh my God! Look at this.
Oh my God.
He framed
Wow! Oh my! Hold on! I gotta put hold that right there. Hold on a second. I gotta put you on, Derek. How do we get him on complete? Let's see.
Good question.
Hold on, Jay, you said I gave you that?
You gave me this.
Oh man, I forget more than I remember.
Because you picked some of the worst flyers.
Here we go.
Find.
Wow, bro.
MK. Wow.
R&R 101. Shout out to Pays and Jose. Wow.
Euphoria. That was that rave upstate, right?
Wow.
That was amazing.
That horrible Mars flyer. Awful Mars flyer. Still got 2,000 people. You couldn't even read the flyer. You got 2,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That Euphoria thing, I don't know if we smoked mushrooms or something that day, but I was bugging, and I just remember when I stopped the gun, hit the tech. John Wayne don't even know the reign of the tech, and I was like,
hold on.
at UMass bugging it.
That Euphoria rave. All I remember, because I was DJing that night.
Yeah, that was hot though.
There was like a bomb threat or something, and then they turned on the lights, and the place went from 3,000 people. They're like the last person was running out the door, and I think Jay was coming up to the DJ booth like, "Yo, we got to get out of here."
Oh, that was indoors, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking of I was thinking of the UMass party you did outside.
Oh,
that
was amazing. When you were playing beat,
I don't remember that.
Eric Sermon.
Yo, you remember the party you did, and then Amaury ran up the steps, and a guy went to like rob the money at the front.
That was Pozo Lounge. That was the same night. That was the same night you saw beat up once.
Yeah, but you know what was crazy about that? It was like he had an angel because he just looked at the guy. He said, "Nah, chill." Remember? He didn't do anything, and the guy didn't do nothing to him. And I don't even think he ended up robbing it.
That was a place on St. Mark's Place, right?
It was in St. Mark's. Yes, you remember. Yeah. We did something there. I don't. It had something to do with it.
That was a very wild night.
That was crazy night.
That was. I want to say that was the first R&R 101. No.
That was something. It had something.
Pozo Lounge. Trust me. Pozo Lounge is actually a trauma of mine, so I remember.
Okay, so you remember.
You were playing, that was gonna be big. I remember going to UMass and Jay Biz was like, "Follow my lead." Yo, and we threw some kids Nintendo out the window and we grabbed them. You don't remember that? You like, "Follow my lead." These kids.
I plead the fifth, man.
You don't want to talk about this.
All right, so let's get into. I'm gonna throw on Bleeding Hate. And then we'll talk some more, and we'll talk about this record here. Say we looking like the Brady Bunch.
Here's the life that I live. These the words of a disturbing story of a kid in the park after dark kicking words in the cipher. When that hurt, we're getting hyped.
I see. Putrid pestilence, pussies test the best of pester, but only go back and can't survive the full semester. With the professor of tongue lash who could crash through your shield with the
shout out to C-Jax, wherever you are.
Williams.
My inquiry of real foes, where's the Negroes to test the skin of me? Building citadel, similar to Babylon. Only at the Ramadan when I rob a bomb.
Explosion, feel the force of the chosen. From the ashes of a legacy I rose. To the top with the cream of the cup, drop it's hot to get it frozen.
Follows, quoting analytical reveals that situations are getting critical. Spiritual gold consumes me as I attack. You look for rivalry, but the needles in the haystack.
Love is in my blood, it's hate that I bleed.
Searching for the calm, cause it's rivals that
love is in my blood, it's hate that I bleed.
For those who want sex, death is the truth. Verbally, I vibrate. The great shapeshifter, metamorphosize into metaphor massacre.
Reaction, causes lyrical motion. As my thoughts slip deep into an ocean of devotion to hip-hop in general. I lay back, relax, and then I send a few moves. I consume in the mental. Violation can be
The
detrimental.
fundamentals of rap adhere to my essence. The effervescence of my lessons flows, so my presence is felt, even in purgatory. Damage all challengers, but know the same story. Rappers yapping about rap, but when I hit them with the Waterloo, niggas with the walking shoe and step.
Approach to a track and beneath them. I transform to a mist, then I see through crevices. I embark on a journey. I convey information and learn these wisdom, only found when my blood hates. So I drift as I'm lost in the mind. Love is in my blood, it's hate that I feel.
Looking for the carpets, rivals.
Love is in my blood, it's hate that I feel.
For those who want test, that is the
Shock, that beat is hot. That track is hot.
Thank you, sir. I still think you kicked my ass on this one, Jay.
No. You know what? It's funny because I'm listening to it. I'm like, they're two such different tracks, which is why
That's probably why we couldn't decide.
I know, and which is why you and I got along so well. But I'll tell you the one thing that was always true is that your mixes always sound like 1,000 times better than mine.
And I hate that mix.
No, but you always got clean mixes.
That was
You're like opposite.
You know what's crazy? That one, like nobody knows this, but those strings, they're from the Pet Shop Boys.
Oh, nice.
I remember that.
Because I didn't have no sound modules or anything, so everything had to be a sample.
Everything was sampled.
Nice.
So that's I think it's Domino Dancing in the
That's
beginning, and then the sample is Bob James. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And the snare on that, I think I stole that from an open drum on You Always Cry When You Tell Me That You'll Be Coming Back on the Road Again in the beginning. And then I didn't have no reverb.
You had to get so creative back then, right? Like
there's no reverb on that snare. You know what I did? I looped the end of it, so it sounds like reverb. There's no. I didn't have reverb. I didn't have no reverb.
That got us on Stretch and Barbito, though. That was the trick.
Yeah, man.
That's
that was
true.
a flick, though. You remember trying to get that record upstairs, Jay?
I do.
Yo, that was crazy. Remember, like
Columbia University.
Yeah, somebody had to open the door, and we tried so hard, and then we finally got the record. They didn't play it that night, I don't think. Did they?
I don't know.
I remember driving around in the car and hearing it for the first time. Remember? I think we were in your car. Okay.
But that was the biggest thing, man, to get it on Stretch and Barbito, any record. Like we it was the biggest thing to us. It was huge.
But big shout to Ron Williams, C-Jack. Yeah. He's dope, man. Like I haven't heard him rap in a long time.
Yeah, that's C-Jax, right?
Yep.
Ron Williams?
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yo, he was dope, man. Yep. He was fire, man.
Yep.
Really was. And I remember we struggled to get that on there, and we finally got it on there, and that kind of gave us like a battery in our back, and we were like feeling good about it. We were like, we can do this label thing, and who did all the artwork? Shout out to
JS. Shout out to JS. You got to
tell before. What about the Parallax logo?
He did that too.
Some kid from UMass did that.
No, he did the Parallax logo. He did. You remember the logo with the dude that was holding the microphone dripping? He did that.
Yeah. I got that. Hold on, let me pull that up. I got that here somewhere.
He was tight, man.
He was dumb nice.
Boom.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
that is sick. Yeah.
The logo.
That was just.
That's right. Maybe,
that was a dude at your school, right?
Yeah, maybe he didn't do the original Parallax.
I might have to take credit for that mass vinyl logo.
Oh,
that was probably made in type style.
I was gonna say that looked like the Kinko special, brother.
Wow,
that's Kinko,
right? We used to make flyers on that, Jay.
Kinko.
Hold on. Bring that back up for a second.
Which one? This one?
For like 15 hours a day.
Hold on. Remember, I changed my name for a minute to Jason because because the dude from Hieroglyphics came out like 2 years after me. But their record blew up. 93 to Infinity blew up, and I was like, "Oh man!" You're like, "J Biz, you got to be chilling." I'm like, "No, that was rough." It's
Forgot
rough
about
to
that.
change your name when you're not the guy on top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember that. Wow.
Wow.
And then I changed it back. I'm like, screw that. There
Type
could be
styler.
Type styler.
All right, so
From
I got
hell.
one more I want to throw on, which is a freestyle on Stretch and Bobbito. And how did that feel, A-Track? Like when you went up there, like to
That
the
was amazing.
like
That
talk
was
about that,
amazing.
because I mean that's a legendary show. That show is like the show
That
of shows. You went up there, you freestyled. I mean, we made promos. We had a couple records played on there. But
It
how
was
was that for
amazing.
you to go up
It
there
was
and spit?
amazing, but like at that time, everything was like so close to happening that it was like everything seemed like the sky was the limit. Like what we went for, we got on. So I don't know. Like I appreciated being on there, but now I appreciate it more.
All right,
It's like, yo, you know how many people wanted to be on that? But
Man,
they were
that's
never on that.
that's a huge thing, man. You know, in hip
Yeah,
hop.
that was a big
You
thing,
got to spit.
and that's like the show. That was like the standard that we used to listen to.
Hell
It
yeah.
wasn't like Hot 97. It was that.
No,
Like,
it was that. It was
underground.
that
So,
was like
those people.
They
broke.
broke. First of all, they broke Wu-Tang. They broke Nas, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That was
Jay-Z too. It
Jay-Z,
broke Jay-Z
right?
with Big Al.
Yeah.
Golden era.
yeah, that was it.
But it was dope because we went from aspiring to actually being on the show, and it was cool, and it did happen. It happened fast. Once
Like
we
to
decided
sit there
do
and
it,
hear
it
you
happened
on there.
fast.
That was crazy.
That was hot.
Just to sit there and hear you guys on there. And shout out to Jay Treads because he's on this too, man.
The funny thing is that same promo that you played, the promo that you're about to play, a few years ago, somebody in Germany sent that to me. I didn't even have it. They sent
Well,
it
no,
to
this
me.
ain't a promo.
That's-
This is you freestyling.
A freestyle, yeah,
Yeah.
they taped it and they sent it to me, that freestyle, and they sent me the March promo, the one we did at Database. Some guy
Okay.
from Germany sent
Because
I didn't even have it.
there was one
First
promo I
people
couldn't play, and that's the one I don't have, which I'm actually spitting on that one. And I don't
gotta
have
try
that
to
one.
find it.
I don't know where that one is. So here we go with this freestyle from Stretch and Bobbito with Jay Treads and Parallax. Here we go.
Behold, the embodiment of superiority. My top priority is to dominate the majority. I'm from a minority that is of major importance, cause I stepped here and then I'll cause a plethora of forfeits. And my methods are amorphous, so containment's complicated, plus attempts are terminated. Cause there be retaliation, like against those bros who rose in the past to get next to the trend, but did not know I've made my mark just like an eczema heads. Go on a hiatus from flowing, need the status. I'm for escape from the greatest, I'm the latest on the market. See a cipher, I spark it. To make it clear, battle mics to shine like LA gear on ball courts after darkness. The obvious and simple. You're number one, I'm number two, so you're cracking under pressure because you're just a pencil. I'm a mental expanse like waistbands or pajamas to help me smoke MCs. They're like camels, so then they're llamas. I come in homicide when I enter your domicile to your speakers and breach your mental barriers with various vocals that pulverize your brain to make shit get precarious. When you play this, don't fuck with me because I'm the greatest.
Parallax, the paratroop, paralyzed with paranormal evolutionary parastyles. So it's apparent that we inherit the very soul of hip hop in the core of our being. Being that we're dope, we hope that you can cope with the energy. Weak enemies who envy at the ending of your story comes quickly, cause your style does nothing except pick me. The click's name is Parallax, and we make tracks for the total evolution of the industry. I employ agility and dexterity to dodge lyrical projectiles linguistically. Your inability to rhyme with cleverness will cause your total severness from the plank of the ship where I'm captain. When I'm rapping, you happen to be sinking, yo, while I'm thinking of ways to control a lyrical inhibitor. While Parallax sells safe to the perimeter. With latitude and altitude be the best way to describe aspects of my attitude. So show gratitude when Parallax penetrates your mental realm. Yo, I took you out.
Who was there, yo, coming down with the three styles in the dimensions. Check it out. Hey, yo, futuristic. My flow is relevant to cubical measurements of my musical havoc. Holographic elements are Jewish because they dominate my temple, and it's prevalent that I possess more soul than melanin when I'm grooving. Because I'm an optic illusion of a solid, so you can close your eyelids or put on your 3D glasses. Because the flow from the treads out of focus passes over your heads like farting pigeons. But I'm a magician, making magic hits. When I say olive peanut butter jelly sandwiches, imagining figments, red and blue pigments that give perspectives to my enigmas that are vocal. And my focal points are and local to your lenses, your lobes, and the three the senses of your Cinco. But don't sit down to take notes. You can't copy me, kid, even if your name was Kinko. And I give another dimension to the lyrics that I deliver to the listeners. Poetical prisoners of a flow that is kinetic, cause it's moving. Coming at you in 3D, causing mass confusion.
It's my sworn task to eliminate the homicidal government entity and try to annihilate the incredible parallax structure with realms of law, strains of thought never taught to teens in the infrastructure of the nation. Complication of my style baffles men. And then you try to cross the line, I bring it down to earth and self-destruct like a mine. You're like a mime, I come silently and violently. I take you on a trip, hit your last as I amass the bloodbath.
But yo, here I go. JJ Treasure, yo, styles in the medulla. But yo, I make your head spin like a hula hoop. But then I troop with the GNSP. But like Baskin Robbins, cause we scoop flavor. Just like in the ice cream parlor. Get your best to step back, or best to just guard your grill. Because the skill is mad ill off the top of the ledge. Because yo, I'm full-fledged when it comes to freestyle. Hey yo, I see smiles because I cause happiness. And yo, say what's up, describe me, it's dope. I would just kick the shit that you cannot cope with. Word to God, yo, my fucking dope rip with the parallax, and you will be paralyzed because it kicks the ill shit. Because it's IQ high, it's wise. Word, because the smartness is like elated, elevated. But yo, I never pretend when it comes to styles that extend into your eardrum. You wanna listen closer, then you best come here, son. Word to God, yes, come into my proximity. Word to God, I see you scared cause you show timidity, you're timid. Step back in, cause I show my venom. Just like a snake, I strike ya. Just like a viper, light it up in the cipher. I'm getting hyper. Word to God, yo, I light it up just like a lighter on the blood. Yes, I smoke you. I play you like a stunt on the poor guy. You try, then you're gonna fall. Why? Yes, now I show it to a tread. How you gonna come there with the sound and make them say, holy cow?
Hey yo, if you're the viper, then I'm the fucking cobra. The ill nigga. The nigga doesn't need a trigger. He's ill with the telepathic power. This guy will drop the land and then he'll fucking devour. My name is David, trapped with the factional forces and dominions. Your opinion is not relevant. It's irrelevant. I come to your town with the underground ciphers. Niggas be talking shit. I'm hitting horns like a piper. You wanna step to me? You know my fucking style. EI to the GHT. And plus I'm getting wild in the boogie down with my nigga J Trent. Freestyle off the top of the dome. We're putting heads out. For the end of the night, it's bright night and you're scared. So when you see us coming, fucking beware. He's from Brooklyn and I'm from the Bronx. Coming strong like a motherfucking ox. So jump off our jocks cause we can get complicated too. And we can beat you down and make your ass black and blue. That's how we're living in 94. Slicing niggas up like fucking Jeffrey Dahmer. The horror. I'm coming to you down and from the boogie down and underground and like a mole. But like a troll, I'm living under bridges, taking soldiers, taking all your money, running all your shit. And plus I'm putting out hits with my niggas they treasure. And we're fucking ill with the skills straight off the domium. Like fucking chromium, shiny. So you can get the fucking hiney and stay behind. While niggas go home and take the tape and fucking rewind. That's how I kick the ill shit. Straight on anyway, go.
Yo, use the Calito's way.
Oh, and there's the promo. That's
yeah, we got that one too.
Dave,
You know, it's funny that whole last part was freestyle.
You and
Hey, yo, you killed that freestyle.
You were two of the best freestylers, I think, ever. Seriously.
You know, it's funny that it felt good to go on there and kick a whole verse like that off the top of the head and like not embarrass yourself. And that was like my first radio show. That was my first radio show, Bobito. That's crazy too. The first shit I did was the Bobito.
And you know what? So here's a cool story on top of that. So Derek, I know you want to hear our stories. So that kicked off. Dave, you remember when we went on the college radio tour around the whole country, right? We went to Stanford. Were you even with me? I might have even went on my own. Just like I was hawking mixtapes in the Bronx and Harlem, and when I was 18, I was out going to all these shows with like the promo records. And like, you remember, I was hanging with Eazy-E. It's like before, or was it Eazy-E? I think it was Eazy-E. One of the guys from NWA. I think it was Eazy-E. I think I met him at like. It was Ren. I met him.
It was Ren. I remember.
I met him at the Stanford University radio station of all places, right? The home of Google, right? And like we went on that tour, but then we started going to all these colleges to perform.
And we opened up for like Buckshot and all that.
No, Helter Skelter. Everywhere we went, it was like we unofficially opened up for Helter Skelter for like a whole year. Remember?
And you used to bump into them at radio shows all the time too. I remember that.
Yeah.
I chilled with Buckshot like the day after his the passed away, and like chilled with him all night, and then never seen him again. But it was cool.
Jay, you remember that time we went up to Hot 97 to drop off a record for Funkmaster Flex, and Redman gets in the elevator, smoking a blunt in the elevator, and you see, and back then you got to show a picture. If you have Jay's hair was like, he looked like the hip hop version of Carrot Top. Right?
You see my hair now, the opposite of that.
Yeah, I had hair too.
That's
Remember when I had hair?
Redman gets to the elevator, he's like, "Yo, what's up, Be Real?"
Oh, what?
He just rolls with it. Like, yo, what's up, Redman?
So Jay just sent me this picture right here. It's a throwback. Bang.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
that's that Big Daddy,
I have
yo.
that picture, but without Pretty in it.
We're pretty.
I was gonna
Wow.
send Jay Biz that
Shout out to
picture, but mine
Jermaine.
is cut off.
Shout out to
Wasn't
Pete
that pretty?
Tequila.
That was that
man.
record labels. That was that record distribution.
Oh,
That was
the
another part.
distributor.
That was another part of
That
our
was
history.
Big Daddy distribution.
Wow, bro.
That was another part of our history. First, hold on, bring that
That's
back.
Jay Biz
the
right
first.
there, man.
Check
Wow.
out that computer, though.
Wow.
No, but you remember that? So we used to distribute our records through this company, Big Daddy Distribution, which was started by this dude who used to work at Priority Records. Right? He left. They started Big Daddy, and they were distributing us. And one day, you remember that guy, Rich? Rich was like super connected to like all the record stores and to Stretch and Bob. And one day they were like, "Oh, Rich is leaving. We need somebody else to come work here." And I was like, I want to say I was like, besides running our studio, I was selling septic tank cleaner over the phone, telemarketing. That was like my day job, right? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to
I
go do that.
remember that in New Rochelle.
In Larchmont.
That was a big move for us,
Oh,
though, when
Larchmont,
you got that job at Big Daddy. That was huge.
But you know, the huge part about it in business terms is like we cut out the distributor after that, right? Like we learned, I learned who all the wholesalers were around the world, and then I quit Big Daddy. Actually, this is when you and I really took off Shok, because I quit Big Daddy, and I was like, all right, we're gonna make our margin plus we're gonna make the distributor margin, and all of a sudden we doubled the margin selling the same amount of records around the world, right?
I worked at Big
we had a lot of
Daddy for
tricks,
like a month.
tricks too.
Remember, Jay?
Milk
I
crates.
worked with you at
Milk
Big
crates.
Daddy for like a month.
That's right. That's right. Milk
Yeah.
crates is the
Maplewood, New
bomb.
Jersey.
We started that.
And we used
Nobody
to drive
knows.
to
No, actually,
a couple
no
of
one knows
records.
to this day who the milk crates came out through, because it had to be quiet.
Exactly.
Actually, no one knows. We were the milk crates by the for
now.
everybody underground right now. No one knows who the milk crate guys are. We can admit it now.
We can. I think we put out like 30 of those, didn't we?
Oh my God, we started that. We were the
As you
first
know-
people to make albums that had the original sample of what people sampled. As a matter of fact, Premiere was pretty pissed off at us from
I
what
remember.
from what I understand. Now it's
He wasn't the only
commonplace,
one, but yeah.
but back then it was like no one wanted people to know what they sampled for multiple reasons.
Yeah,
and they were pissed off. But that was us. Yeah, man.
I remember.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say something, but I forgot. Somebody had threatened you. I'm gonna tell on you that this kid Alex. I'm gonna tell people who created the milk crates.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
DJ Alex? He tried to threaten you with that. I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
them you're the milk
no,
crate
it was
guy.
like it was undercover. It was like we we were doing it. I mean, it was only for DJs, so it wasn't like a big deal.
Yeah.
But it got around enough, and we would do limited pressings of them. But
Yeah,
it
but
got
it was-
around enough.
But it was tight
You
because
know
we
what?
knew like the distributor in like Japan and Tokyo and Germany and London, and we'd be like,
And we sold records in Japan too.
Was it from
And we got on 2 compilations too.
no, but this
Don't be
is my
jacked.
favorite. This is my favorite. That's right. That we licensed to Adex Tracks. That was the name of the label in Japan. But Jay, you'll remember. We used to promote our records in AOL.com/my screen name, whatever my screen name was, and we'd promote our records and we'd sell them via fax. It was like e-commerce via fax in 1995. We like invented e-commerce. I mean, we didn't get paid for it like Jeff Bezos, but I mean, like before there was e-commerce, there was like, influencer marketing in AOL chat rooms, and then we'd be like, all right, fax us your order, wire us the money. And then we'd be like, all right, we just got like 10 grand. Okay, now we could go actually make the record, right? That was our hustle.
Yeah, man. So
that was awesome.
Yep.
let me see. Well, we've been on for a minute, for a good hour. Derek, you got it? You got anything for us, man? You listen to us basically
Well,
chat away.
well, that's what I came for, man. I feel like you guys started to tell the story of the process of making that Parallax record, right? Like you said, you were 18, 19, went to the studio, didn't know whether it would be one or a day. Weren't you in the middle of that story?
Yeah, I think basically I think I mean, how did we damn? Well, I think we did that at Brian's. Yes.
Oh, did that, Brian.
We did it at Brian's and we even mixed it at Brian's because I remember it was mad difficult to mix.
Yep.
In his studio. It was crazy. And it was so like you had to do everything live, any drops.
Yep.
It was all coming off, and it was like Dave said, like if anything, you had to bounce stuff. And I remember, and it was really difficult. Like the EQs, like he had the board he had. I remember, like mostly knobs. It wasn't faders, was it? It had like some faders, but I remember a lot of the time I had to use knobs for volume.
I think so.
It was bugged out. I remember that, and it took a lot of work. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, for what we used and what we produced, I think we did phenomenal. Like I listened to it, and I have, I'm like, man, I wish I could have done this or that. You know how that is. You always do that. But for what we had and what we made, I mean, we didn't. I don't think we even mastered that.
We did.
Did we master it?
We didn't have.
We let Big Daddy, like,
I don't think we could afford. I don't think we could afford to master it.
I think we didn't master it. You know what we said? We were like, F that. I remember. I'm pretty sure. Like we were like, yo, we was like, how much to master? They were like 500 or something. We were like, nah, we'll skip that. And we did get complaints about some. I remember we got some type of complaints because it was a little hot, but for the most part, it was fine.
You know what?
I mean, people still rock it because it was a little hot in some places.
Think about compared to how people put music together now, where they have like the physical representation on the screens, it's the visual representation. All that had to be done in your head when you cut stuff. When you had to, everything had to be done manually. It's crazy.
You had to do a lot of it in one take, right? Because like you said, you had to do the drops manually, right?
Yeah.
But I think after that record, I mean, we got so much history when I think about it, right? Because Shok, after that record, I think that's when we were like, all right, we need to upgrade the studio, and we went over to Yonkers, and we found in the economic development zone, we found some deal, right? And we opened up that studio, and I mean, I'll never forget, we hired some contract. What was his name? What's the contractor's name?
Oh my God, Placido.
and like I'll never forget because it was like $2,000 or something, but it was like back then that was like $1 million to us.
Yeah.
And for $2,000, this dude transformed this like empty warehouse, like big. I mean, that was a big space.
You even built a stage there. You were like, here's a practice.
Yeah, built a stage to practice. That's the studio that eventually became D Block Studio, which became famous too. That's the same place. And I remember what ended up happening was I think we went from Brian's to my parents' basement, basically.
And then we went there
for a while, and then they were like, "We're moving," and then we were like, "Oh shit, they're moving." All right, so let's look around. And actually, wait, Giolani, are you still? If he's still around, in the comments,
he was a big part of that too because he was pretty into the mix.
Giolani he worked in the building, and that's how I found out about the place. He worked downstairs.
He used to do telemarketing for the police, like athletic league.
Yes, and then he told us about it, and then we went and we met with Sandra. Man, who I stayed there for like a decade with Sandra. Sandra was really good to me, and man. I mean, there's so much, like I'm definitely because I'm gonna do every record. Next one is gonna be, if you guys want to come back on, definitely please do, because I'm gonna do, the next one is gonna be High Tech. I'm hoping to get High Tech up here. Amori's got an open invitation. I told him whenever he wants to come up, and I'll just keep inviting you guys up. If you want to pop up. I mean, I know you guys are gonna remember a lot of stuff I don't remember, and it's cool. And I thank you guys for coming up too. because I mean,
Thank
I'm
you.
telling my story, and it's it's nice, to do it like this and to remember and to kind of like archive it. You know what I mean? Once we
Yeah.
finish this, it's archived. It's a
Like you
recording.
putting the timeline back together.
Yeah, man. And I love you guys, and I'm glad we're still talk. I'm glad we're still friends.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys all did great. And we're still here. But it was a very, very special time, man, and I appreciate it.
It
And
was. And
it's
you know
nice to
what?
remember and talk about it, and like Dave, we can hear you a lot of times, but like you're the one who always makes us laugh, man. Dave's the one who always makes us laugh. Jay's massive businessman, figuring everything out, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and then the other Jay, he's the peacemaker. We can need some stories about that too. You have to come up
except when he clobbered Scrappy.
Yeah, that was
that was the only time I was like, wow.
That was the one time.
But
Actually,
people don't know
I
that
think
Jay
that is
Tech
the
had
one
gold
time.
fronts though. People don't know he had gold fronts and he used to be on roller skates down with the low people, like just up. I'm not gonna say shoplifting. I'm gonna say uplifting polo. But it is what he came from humble beginnings. I met him when you had hammer pants. I knew you was a hammerhead. So you're gonna go way back. But J Tech, I'm gonna call you. We gotta reminisce.
Yeah, you got it. You spent too long.
Man.
Way too long.
Shok, there's so much more to this to the story, right? I mean, like you remember the situation with Tommy Boy. Not Tommy Boy.
Oh my God! Yeah, we got to do that.
Next plateau.
You got to come back because I mean that's a story.
That was
crazy.
So
I mean, unless you want to go into it now, we can go into that story now.
I can't. I gotta go soon though.
All right, but that story is crazy.
We
I mean,
signed a
I'm
record
just
deal with Next
I'm gonna just
Plateau.
for everybody watching.
Even more, man. They sent us a check and then they went out of business before we cashed it.
Yeah. So for everybody watching, the historic, record label Next Plateau and hip hop, historic label,
Salt and Pepper's label,
owned by Eddie O'Loughlin. Mass Vinyl was supposed to save it.
That's right.
That's the teaser for that. Actually, that should be an episode right there.
That should be an episode.
That's an episode.
Why don't we get Eddie on? Eddie's probably still around.
Yeah, we can get who. Yeah, that would be crazy. We get Eddie up here.
I mean,
and then we went back, and it was a rock and roll label. Like, what the hell happened?
No, it was crazy.
Like biohazards on this.
We had 3 deals on the table, but that's the business, man.
Yep.
You're on top of the world 1 second, and then by the time you get back to the lobby and you're on your way home, you got your hands in your pockets and you're like, damn, what happened up there?
That was an amazing day, even though it didn't come.
That day was signing those. We all went. Deals. We was about to sign.
Shit was amazing.
And he came out and he was like, guys.
They were showing me.
I'm like, what?
They're showing me catalog.
We had everything worked out. We negotiated it. Remember, Jay? It was 3 deals. Who does that?
Yep.
We had 3 deals for 3 artists at the same time. Nobody does that. Unless they're like Wu-Tang. Like we had 3 deals. Damn. Yeah, we gotta do an episode.
We did a Wu-Tang.
We gotta do an episode on that.
Yeah, Shok, thanks for having us on, man.
No, thank you guys, because this is important for me, man. This is my history, man. And we gotta close this with
Derek. It was nice
a shout out to Shay Fabulous and
Shay.
To Shay Fabulous.
My nigga, the shit fabulous. Yeah, it's about that time to pay some respect to the niggas who made the shit possible. The long project, you know what I'm saying? Jason on the production. My nigga Shok, also on production, putting it out. You know what I'm saying? To my man Brian, Fat Ed. Big up to Steve Jacks, 8-Track, nigga J Tech, Mass Productions in effect. Yeah, J Dreads. Gotta send a shout to Kim, the whole Zulu Nation. Rock's Eddie Crew, nigga Scrappy. Big ups to VIP Record Pool, my man Alpha Zaro, and Buddha Sets.
VIP Record Pool.
Much shouts to Randy and the Nomads. Yeah. Gotta send a shout to Touch and Alfie. My brother. All the underground stations for putting it on. The Dirty Dozen, Stretch and Barbito, Special K and Teddy Tad, Silver Surfer, Hank Club and Half Pint. Yeah, all the designs, Mass Design, got it going on.
To my man Ray, DJ Funk Master Flex, DJ Premier, Evil D, keeping it real on the station. El Marvin Flex Management, Dame that kick ass, Pablo Diaz from Sony. Yeah, making it real for ya.
Thank you, everybody.
Much shout to the niggas on the street level. Yeah, my man Ron G, Doo-Wop, the Cool Mike Ski, DJ Clue, Jazzy Joyce, my man Jazzy G. Yeah.